And now, ladies and gentlemen, you are entering New York's greatest place for all things film, starring your host, Tommy Smart, your co-host, DJ Gowski, your head of reviews, Brother Wells, and your news anchor, Justine Ray. We now enter the studios to bring you The Screening Room on WRHU.
Yeah, good morning. It's Tommy Smart live in New York. Gowski's bringing me to you via the magic of WRHU 88.7 FM. Anyway, so it's rainy, cloudy. It's kind of disgusting, kind of sad in this studio right now.
It's not as bright as it usually is.
No. It's either because of the rain or because Maureen O'Hara died. Do you have any? That's a shame.
It's just a weird day today, you know?
Yeah, it's sad. Ain't no sunshine when it's gone.
I feel bad about that.
So sad. No, it's terrible. I know. I looked at this and I saw this out this morning and that she died and it was like, it's funny because I think Hunchback of Notre Dame, the original one, was on the other day and kind of timely for that. So it's a shame. Such a shame. So she's dead at 95.
I mean, it was also kind of very unexpected, don't you think? Like,
I mean, people die when they hit their 90s.
No, but just like this one in particular. I mean, just a series of them are just like, I did not see this coming.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think you ever seen it coming, I guess.
I don't think anybody thinks about somebody when they're going to die, but yeah, because it does just happen even when they're old. It's random. Well, it's a shame, though. She was in a lot of movies. Hungry Was My Valley. That was the John Ford film. The Quiet Man. That was another John Ford film. She was in George Seaton's.
She was good friends with John Wayne.
Yeah, and she had basically a little bit of a love affair with John Ford, the director, a little bit kind of a thing.
And she was actually she was presented an honorary Oscar last year.
Oh yeah. She's been around for a while.
Liam Neeson gave her that.
She was in Liam Neeson, such a random person to give that out to from. Miracle on 34th.
Anybody else?
No, and then there was she was in Miracle on 34th Street. Wings of Eagles, McClintock, and Big Jake. Yeah. Wow, I haven't seen Big Jake in a while. Wasn't that good?
The Quiet Man, too.
It's a shame. And no, it's not like, I mean, obviously people die and, you know, basically the old gets changed out with the new. But it just depresses me. Because you got this new Hollywood with all the superhero franchises and all the big budget stuff and just annoying little garbage that's being made today.
Yeah, right.
And then, I mean, back then when she was around working the golden age of Hollywood, there was more of an emphasis on story. Not that there wasn't a business. Obviously it was a business and it was big and, still money-driven, but still. Just like there was a sense more classiness and storytelling being made. And then with all these people dying, I've looked at all these people today, like, what's his name? Like Chris Pratt, Chris whatever his name is.
Well,
Chris
which one
Pratt?
Is it Pratt or Pine?
Pratt or Pine? I don't know.
Or Evans, I don't know.
Which Chris are you talking about? There's so many Chris's all over Hollywood.
I know. But which Chris is it? Chris Pratt or Chris Pratt?
There's Chris Pine,
right.
Chris Hemsworth.
All right.
All
right. All of them. None of them know what's going on.
Wait, what?
None of them. Hey, what? They really don't.
Wait, about what?
All right, here's the thing.
By the way, Justine's
here.
Is back
Sorry,
on the
everyone. I didn't just chime in before. Everyone must be like, "Who's that voice? That's not Haley."
It sounds familiar. We usually throw the intro with Haley, and I'm like, "Hey, she's here."
So here's the thing. All right.
Hi.
So you have Maureen O'Hara, which comes from this classical sense of Hollywood theater acting. Actually knows acting. Actually knows story. Okay. When you look at these movies with the superhero movies, it doesn't take a whole brain to actually act in any of them. It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. So when I see actors in these movies, I just think, Tom Hiddleston, he's a decent actor, but he doesn't know what the hell's going on. All right? This Chris Pratt guy doesn't know what's going on. Paul Rudd in Ant-Man doesn't know what's going on.
I mean, I don't know. Did they get a job?
You realize they have projects outside of the Marvel world, you know what I mean? This man's about to play Hank Williams in, next year. And
I don't think there was much effort to play him either, but... hey, if he can do it, give him some slack.
I even just saw Crimson Peak with Tom
Hiddleston. I give him credit because he can actually do impressions of people. But I mean, I just don't take these movies to be action. I can't take them seriously. Okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see there's a whole. I mean,
they do a decent enough job.
Of movies.
Yeah, they do a decent enough job to get you invested in the story world. But honestly, there's not much depth to these people. I'm just saying. So it just disappoints me. But then again, people die. So it's a shame. So sorry, Maureen. Yeah. Same. Watch Quiet Man. I didn't. Quiet Man's interesting because that one's very Scottish, and it kind of annoys me. But the Hunchback of Notre Dame is good, the original one. And apparently, speaking of Hunchback of Notre Dame, nobody likes the Disney version of Hunchback of Notre Dame except for me. I noticed that. Nobody.
I appreciate the movie.
Yeah,
like
I've heard
it?
a
I did.
bunch
I
of people that
appreciate
like the
I talked to a
Hunchback
bunch of
of Notre
other
Dame.
people, and no one knew what I was talking about.
No, it's a good. I mean, it's Disney.
was good.
It's Disney. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean,
not even just
it's
because
Disney.
it's Disney, but I mean, I
Yeah.
love the story too.
Yeah, I like that movie. I don't know why nobody else remembers it from the Disney Renaissance.
Oh,
It's
you
very
brought.
sad.
I know a lot of people that like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I don't know. What
Everybody
you
I was talking about said they
I want
don't even think about it.
to flip back your
Love
opinion
that
for a
movie.
second here.
People in my old school love that movie.
Oh, you're old school. They're just you're an apostle.
Apostle.
I know. I have no idea. That's why I said it was.
What's an
weird.
apostle?
I don't know. I think it's from what's kind of like a preacher
Like
person.
a pasta? Like
No, apostle.
Apostle, like
I don't
the
know.
apostle.
The apostle. You know what I'm talking about, right? Apostle.
It's like I think like a
No.
religious.
No.
Like,
That's a
thing.
religious-
I thought it was the
Yeah, it's a
religious
thing
term
from
you
what I
meant,
know.
the
I don't know what
apostles.
exactly what it is, but
Oh, I thought you were talking about your congregation, or your church, something like that.
this is not a gospel show.
What?
Yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah. All right. So
Gonna let it shine.
we'll talk about that. Also, so there's that. Anyway, coming up along, also we have John Rutland. He's the cinematographer of the new Paranormal Activity film.
that's pretty sweet.
And then we're going to review the Burnt. We're going to review Paranormal Activity 6. That's what this is.
Yeah, this one
So what's the next movie we're reviewing?
Suffragette.
Suffragette.
On the Suffragette movement.
Of course, we'll review that later in the show, and we'll talk about apparently relatively media is still trying to back movies even though they're bankrupt.
They're making a comeback.
So silly.
The name's got to stay alive.
Pretty much nobody likes the fact that it's the Ghostbusters reboots are all female. So it's just kind of disheartening, or depends on who you
Yeah,
are.
but it's been a controversy for a while, though. Like,
Yeah, I can see why, too.
Yeah,
I would see like a lot of pros and cons.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
Ant-Man director is in negotiations to return for the sequel. Why? Okay. And then pretty much the Reverend is being hailed as a big, like, artsy film because it basically was shot on time, on a budget. Big deal.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, you made a movie! Wow.
Oh, no, there's some stories behind that.
Wait, what did you say about the budget?
Basically, the guy, the director wants to be basically hailed because he got a movie made on a budget.
Oh, he wants to be held for that.
I mean, unless it was
As
like
opposed
some.
to going over the amount they were supposed to spend.
Right.
Oh,
So we're gonna
Wow, I guess that's history.
wow, when does that happen?
so we'll talk about that and more when we get back here on the screening room. But first, Justine, what do we have for news?
Hollywood celebrates the life of icon Maureen O'Hare. The Academy Award nominations for Best Documentary are here, and production for Wonder Woman is underway. All that and more coming up on the screening room.
Cool. So we'll be right back here on 88.7 WRHU.
The film community honors the life of movie icon Maureen O'Hare. You may know her best from 1947's Miracle on 34th Street and 1961's The Parent Trap. And the 95-year-old died in her sleep. Her family says she passed peacefully, surrounded by her loving family, as they celebrated her life listening to music from her favorite movie, The Quiet Man. During O'Hare's acting days, she became known as the Queen of Technicolor. She leaves behind a daughter and 3 grandchildren. And the Academy Awards are still months away, but the Academy has already released more than 124 eligible documentaries for the nominations. Rumored favorites include Amy, Best of Enemies, The Wolf Pack, Call Me Lucky, Cartel Land, and Steve Jobs, the man behind the machine, the man in the machine. A documentary of the life and struggle of singer-songwriter Amy Winehouse was the highest-grossing documentary in sales. Also on the list of eligible documentaries is Going Gibney, Going Clear, Scientology and Prison System of Belief by Alex Gibney. Going Clear recently won an Emmy. Production for Wonder Woman is also scheduled to begin next month, and we're finally getting some detailed info on the cast. Gal Gadot will be starring as Wonder Woman, co-starring Steve Trevor and Chris Pine. And a little spoiler alert, Wonder Woman's primary foe in the film will be Ares, and their battles will take place just a few months before events to be showcased in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Despite Wonder Woman's invisible vehicles, most of the action will probably take place on the ground. Wonder Woman is being written by Jason Faust and directed by Patty Jenkins. That's all the news that I have for today, but stay tuned for more entertainment news in just a bit. Back to you, Tommy.
So I remember when back, I think it was 2011, 2009, that Paranormal Activity, the first one came out. Was it 2009?
Yeah, it was 2009.
2009? All right, so I remember all the little Marylanders really getting really pumped for it. And you gotta remember, these are people that don't know anything about movies. They can't think about anything but crab cakes and Ravens games, okay? So when they see Paranormal Activity, they freak. They just like freak. They just like go, oh my god, I can't sleep. It's driving me nuts. Only they had a really sick redneck accent.
What kind of accent was that?
I know, like
It's like the bro dude kind of like.
They were talking more like, hey man, I can't believe I actually saw this movie, man.
I think I saw a ghost.
exactly. It's like I couldn't sleep out. So that's how they talk. Anyway. So they were freaking out because that was like almost like a found footage style that was like $15,000 budget and it made like over.
Some people actually thought it was real, like this was like a real footage.
Well, actually, I could see that. Like some people actually legit like think that was real.
I freaked out the first time because I thought it all was real.
Really?
Yeah. No. I was that. That's why it really scared me because I actually thought it was like real footage.
So there you go. I mean, that's the whole effect that these movies can have on people.
Actually.
So after you do about the sixth one, do you think it still has the same effect? Well. We talked to John Rutland the other day. He was pre-taped this interview with him. So let's play that right now. Lauren.
So what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie. I really love like the classic horror movies from the 70s. So I'd have to say like The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby, like those kind of films. I love that period of horror film.
So like the 70s, late 60s, 70s.
Yeah, it's interesting because those were like mainstream films by these, huge directors, and now it's more of a genre thing. But I think there was a period there where it was like that was like still high cinema in a way.
So I got you. Like how it's like becoming like when you say genre thing, like a horror movie could be made by anybody, any director.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool, and that was like including their body of work. Like Kubrick wasn't like a horror film director, but he kind of did that with. Clockwork Orange and The Shining a bit. Oh, I got you. That's cool.
Yeah, and The Shining is another one of my favorite horror films.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, the cinematography is great in that, but like even just like some of those scenes, the tension just comes in right through the music in that movie.
Yeah, exactly. And one interesting thing about that film is like you think of horror films as being like dark and a lot of nighttime, but The Shining is kind of really bright and wide angle and open, but it's still, just because of the situations and the setup and just the talent of the director and the filmmakers involved, it's still super scary,
Oh, totally. What is the wide angle? What is that to you when you watch it as a cinematographer and you're watching a movie? What is that doing to you as the audience member? In
terms of a horror, I think a lot of times now, and it's kind of a style thing in general, but it's also, you think of horror films, I think more like long lens and, out of focus and kind of maybe like more voyeuristic sometimes. But there's something nice, especially like the way Stanley Kubrick used wide angle, is like it really like immerses you in the story, like you feel like you're in it. And I think like Emmanuel Lubezki, some of his recent films is like playing with that, with these wide angle lenses and the way the camera moves. It's almost like the camera itself is a character in the film.
Oh, wow.
Which is not like, it's not a direct correlation, but there is definitely like, it's in a different way, but with the paranormal movie and then also a lot of these first person movies, that's the whole point, is like the camera is a character. The camera is literally one of the characters holding the camera.
Right.
So it's kind of, they're and it doesn't necessarily mean we're doing it all wide angle or anything like that, but in the way that the camera moves, it reacts, there is actual like camera acting happening, whether me operating the camera or sometimes the actor would operate the camera. There was definitely an element of that in this film.
Great, that's a great segue actually into Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension. So let me ask you first of all, because so like, how did you get involved in this?
I got this. This project came to me through my agent, and so I had done 2 movies with Eduardo Sanchez, who's the director of the Blair Witch Project. So we did a movie called Lovely Molly, and then Exist. And Exist was also a first-person like found footage movie, and it's from like Eduardo Sanchez, who's the kind of the sort of quasi creator of the found footage genre. So while, they, found me through my agent, and then I interviewed with the director and the line producer at the time, and the interview went well, and then I was able. The Exist hadn't come out yet at that point, but I was able to set up a screening with the line producer and the director of Exist, and they liked it, and then hired me based off of that.
Let me ask you just about this found footage style, because we were talking a little bit about that before. We talked about you getting into the film. Do you think, these have been going on for a while, these found footage films, and I think the origin of them, I think, as far as I know, it was the Blair Witch Project, and that was back in the 90s, actually, and so that's been around for a while, and they've been kind of rehashing this found footage style with Cloverfield. Oh my God, and there was there's movies on Netflix you can watch that have been horror films that not many people know about, but the found footage style. And then Paranormal Activity 1 comes up with, and it's fresh, because I remember kids in my high school who didn't care anything about movies saw this movie and they were freaking out.
Yeah.
Do you see this trend continuing, or do you think it's waning?
That's an interesting discussion. I don't. It's hard to say. It feels a little bit like it's waning, but all it takes is for some creative filmmaker to come and re-energize the genre and just kind of approach it in a different way. With the Blair Witch, when it came out, there was a huge push with all these first-person movies kind of on the heels of that movie, but then the bubble kind of popped, and there was a bit of a backlash, so it kind of went away for a while, and then, like you said, Cloverfield and Paranormal Activity came out, and then there was this huge resurgence. So, there's a lot of factors that are kind of making that happen, but I think part of what was interesting about the Paranormal Activity thing, it's so relatable. It's something that you could do at your house with the cameras that you have there, and I think that in a weird way is what made it so scary, is it felt like something that could literally happen to you. There's a lot of different quasi-narrative documentary films, like that movie Catfish that came out that was super interesting, and so there's it feels a little bit like it's waning, but all it takes is somebody to come out with an interesting spin on it, and then there you go.
Are you cool with that, or is it
I think ultimately it's for me, I'm more interested in somebody who has a story to tell, and they think about the best way to tell that story. And if the best way to tell that story happens to be a first-person movie, then sure, do it. But if it's not, then don't kind of push it into something that it's not. I think that's more, whether it's in vogue or people think that they can make money off of it or not. It is what it is. There'll always be that. But for me, the thing that's important is just is it the best way to tell the story? And there's also an element of doing a first-person movie is cheaper than, in a lot of ways, is cheaper than doing a movie where you have to you're lighting each shot and doing this, and you have different cameras and bigger crew and all this kind of stuff. So some people might do it out of necessity just because they don't have the budget to do a full movie, or maybe their expectations are super high of doing a quote unquote third person movie or whatever. So they do the first person, go the first person route to do it in a less expensive manner. So there's something to be said for that. But again, I think the most important thing is is it the best way to tell the story that you have? And if so, then just do it. But if not, don't try and force it into something it's not.
So, and just tuning in, we're talking to John Rutland. He is a cinematographer of the new Paranormal Activity movie, a Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension, which opens soon. So to prepare for this movie, did you watch the other ones, or did you just rely on your own expertise?
No, I definitely did watch the other movies. In all honesty, at the time of the interview, I had not seen any of the movies. Not at the time of the interview. When I got the call for the interview, I had not seen any of the movies. So before the interview, I basically binge-watched all of the movies, which was in itself a pretty interesting experience, because I think part of that time my wife wasn't here, so I was home alone in the middle of the night watching the paranormal movies. And I think one time I just had to shut the movie off halfway through and go to bed. I just couldn't take it anymore. But because it was so scary. But so I definitely watched all the movies, and because it's important to kind of keep through line. You know, it's like I can't, because this is like the fifth or sixth, if you count the Mark ones, installment in the franchise. Like, I can't just come in and like project all my own stuff onto this franchise. Like, it's kind of like I wanted my work to kind of dovetail into the rest of the movie so that they feel kind of like a whole. You know, so that, you know, that meant a lot of, you know, a lot of the nighttime security footage was kind of had this blue color to it. So it was like, you know, I kind of thought about what I was planning to do in those terms, you know.
With the fact that you came onto this with, like, there is, like, a set franchise, there's a set look and to the films, a certain sound, everything like that, you know, people that come to expect this kind of film.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask, I think I know already know the answer to this question, but so are you fine with that? Because, like, that almost limits your own creative ability.
Yeah, I mean, like, the funny thing is, like, as a cinematographer, if people watch this movie and say, oh, wow, the cinematography was so beautiful, then I failed. You know, like, I failed miserably. Like, it's not supposed to look beautiful. It's supposed to look amateurish and, you know, like someone just grabbed their home video camera and shot this movie. So, like, you know, it's like a weird thing as a cinematographer, because your instinct is always to try and create, you know, these images. But anyway, you know, so that was one thing. You kind of have to just let your ego, or whatever you want to call it, go and just do what's best to tell the story, which is, like, you know, giving the actor the camera, letting them operate, kind of incorporating their camera acting into what you're doing, and shooting it as realistically as possible, you know?
That's interesting. So wait, you're actually, the actor is actually literally holding the camera and going...
Yeah, like, a lot of times we would do that, you know, like, if there was a big stunt sequence or some kind of special effects thing happening, like, I would always operate those just because it would be more critical. But in terms of, like, you know, the rest of the film, a lot of times we would give the camera to the actors on the first take and just kind of see what they did with it, you know, and see what they brought to the camera performance. And then, you know, they might do the first couple takes, and then if there was anything that Greg, the director, wanted me to, like, clean up, or I might say, oh, you know, this part wasn't quite working if they just did the timing a little bit different, and then I would hop in there and do take 3 and maybe take 4 if it needed it. So, you know, it was kind of an interesting approach, and that's what we did also on Exist, the film that I did with Eduardo Sanchez, and it worked really well. Like, the actor will definitely bring things to the table that you wouldn't think of. You know, like, your tendency might be to follow the dialogue in the scene, but the actor might just, like, zoom in on the person who's not talking's face and get a, you know, or something that kind of, they're in the headspace of their character, so they're thinking about, like, what would their character do in that moment. So they might bring interesting things to the table that you wouldn't otherwise think of. And then also, like, just like the framing aesthetic that the actor would do would be different. You know, it might cut off heads, or, you know, be kind of canted in a weird way that actually worked out nicely for the shot. So, you know, seeing that kind of stuff that the actor brought was great.
Anyway, John Rutland, he's a DP of the new film Paranormal Activity to Ghost Dimension. Anyway, so when's this movie coming out? Anyway, is that this weekend?
It comes out on October 23rd.
October 23rd, so everybody can check it out in every single multiplex in America, I'm sure. And I'm pretty sure this will be as good as our first one, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a much bigger scale, and I would say, like, if you get an opportunity to see it in 3D, I would absolutely recommend it, because it's a completely different experience. And, like, you know, the same people who did the dimensionalization, the post-dimensionalization, did, like, the Star Trek movie. So the parts that are in stereo are incredible. And, you know, I did the color on the 3D version of the film recently, and it was the first time I'd gotten to see it in 3D, and it was really, like, very immersive. Like, it's a much different experience, and it's worth checking it out in 3D.
Awesome. Anyway, we'll talk more next time about, like, with you, John, about 3D. That'd be cool. Great conversation. Anyway, John, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
All right, cool. Thank you.
No problem.
I wish I had a better lead into that interview, actually, because I forgot that I asked him with basically what his favorite horror movie was. And no, it's interesting though, because I didn't think about that actually until he talked to me about it, because you think about the horror movies of old, there wasn't necessarily one genre director of anybody who did one specific horror film. Basically, it was these directors, anybody from William Friedkin, who also did The Exorcist, but he also did A French Connection.
Oh, great.
And then Stanley Kubrick, he did The Shining, but that was the only horror movie he did. He did all multiple genres. I never thought about that until now. But he's right, though. Think about it. So I guess, if you're make a good horror movie, you don't have to just stick into that one genre. You can do multiple genres. That just shows your creative abilities as a director. That's my mind.
Interesting.
But he's interesting. Oh, I gotta tell you, though, this entire found footage scheme is waning. And I think most people they'll get it. We'll review the movie later in the show, but we'll talk more about that then. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, I was watching the Blair Witch Project actually recently, just because getting the Halloween spirit or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay.
But there's some found footage that actually did it well. With the Visit and District 9, those worked out pretty well.
Some of them, yeah, it all depends. Yeah. I think this District 9 over
over the Visit?
Cloverfield.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot.
I love
better.
Absolutely District 9.
Way better
Absolutely
crafted
District
too,
9.
and everything.
I like Cloverfield. Yeah, it's okay. So when we get back, apparently, Back to the Future is a big thing nowadays. Apparently, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. One kid from our news staff made a package. We'll play that, and we'll talk a little bit about that, as well as. Basically, I want to get this whole relatively media bankruptcy, trying to get funding for movies, because it's just funny.
They still staying alive,
right?
Staying alive, yeah. Okay.
And then they're doing that, then they're doing I will survive.
I will survive.
So we'll do that when we get back here on the Screen Room on 88.7 FM, WRHU. But first, just see what we have for news.
The treacherous shoots for The Revenant, the daring stunts for the next Bond installment, and Jeremy Renner clears the air. That's all coming up next on the Screening Room.
So just sit back and be chill. We'll be right back here on 88.7 FM, WRHU.
Hey you. You see that video in the middle of the screen? If you missed last week's episode, click it. Click it here, right now. Seriously. Now, do it now. Now let's get back to the Screening Room.
The great lengths that actors endure during production. Leonardo DiCaprio reveals the details of the rigorous shoots for the upcoming film, The Revenant. And by rigorous, the A-lister is referring to sleeping inside of an animal carcass during the shoot. The anticipated film is directed by Oscar winner Alejandro González Iñárritu. Part of the film was shot in the Canadian wilderness, which forced the cast and crew to deal with whatever elements Mother Nature had to offer. Some of the tough filming conditions included freezing cold temperatures that even led to DiCaprio getting hypothermia on and off. The film also stars Tom Hardy and Domhnall Gleeson. The Revenant opens in limited theaters on Christmas Day and nationwide January 8th. And the Spectrum team takes their stunts very seriously. The latest installment of the Bond franchise, called Spectra, has many daring stunts, and the way they pull them off is even more daring. The film has a scene where 3 cars and a plane are on a mountaintop, and no CGI was used during the chase. Another highlight chase involved the film production team getting the permission to shut down the streets of Rome for filming. The jaw-dropping action film hits theaters November 6th. And Jeremy Renner clears the air. This week, the actor took fire in response to his comments about equal pay in Hollywood. When accused, he turned to Twitter to clear any uncertainties with this tweet. On the issue of gender inequality, I have always supported women deserving equal pay, period. Renner continued, a person should be rewarded only by their merit or service to their given field. Gender, race, creed, or sexual orientation should have absolutely no influence in pay, positively or negatively. And that's all the news that I have for now. Stay tuned for more entertainment news in just a bit. Back to you, Tommy.
Yeah, it's Tommy Smart live in New York. Gauski's bringing me to you via the magic of WRHU 88.7 FM. So, of course, right before we talk about this whole relatively media bankruptcy story, which is just funny to me, just so funny, we'll have this basically Back to the Future has been a big deal. Remember this movie?
No, it has.
It was a big
coming
franchise.
in 30th anniversary from at least the first movie. So
Okay, so what was it that made him so special? Anyway.
oh well, so what made it so special? Well,
Time travel.
I mean, time travel. I mean,
it's
time travel. I think it was unique, especially for the type of film that they did in 1985.
Right, the original one, yeah.
And even like in 1989, they did Back to the Future 2, which and this is what the big hype was like nowadays because they came to this Wednesday, was October 21st, 2015, and they got some depictions of like the future. They like portrayed it, and they're like, oh, like this is going to happen.
It wasn't
in,
like
30 years.
like predictions that were like way out there, like like crazy stuff that would never happen. Like some of the stuff actually came to fruition, and some of it was actually sounded legit at the time.
Well, except for the Cubs winning the World
except for
Series.
the Cubs thing, but most of it was pretty legit. So
Okay, so we have one kid Nick Haynes, who writes for our website, thescreenroom.wrhu.com. I'll put a little package together first. Let's play that. We'll talk about it later. So I remember every time I tried watching that movie, I could never get the VCR to rewind. And so it kept playing towards that little incest scene, or at least attempted incest scene at the end of the first movie.
Oh,
So
where
it's
it's like, oh, when I kiss you, you feel like my brother.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
I just want to rewind
know.
to the part where you couldn't get the VCR to work properly. I mean,
Yeah,
What happened there?
I just didn't have the because the VCR was always played towards the end, around when his mom tries to make out with him. Or hook
Oh, I'm
up
so
with him in
sorry
the
you didn't
car.
get to see that, Tommy.
Well, no, I didn't want to see that, but so at the same time, it was like I just never decided to like rewind the movie because I didn't care, honestly.
Something wrong with
He's a
that.
very good-looking young mother, I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, that was a different story. Oh yeah, I remember. But the so the first movie was good. One thing that's really interesting about that movie is that it's basically, if you watch it, it's like the classical Hollywood narrative. It's all structured perfectly as like movies are in Hollywood, commercially speaking. So that was pretty interesting. That was cool.
Yeah, like the story layout is just very... I mean, it's very unique because, like, you have to kind of keep up, as time travel. You have to keep up with where you are, like, what affects what, like, alternate timelines and all this stuff. And it goes through, actually, just all three movies in the series.
Right, yeah.
It was present, going back to past, to future, back to way past, and then back to 1985 because that's where they originally started.
Right.
They just can't stay in one time zone.
Yeah. I mean, so maybe if they ever did a fourth one to go into space, they're not going to do that, obviously.
No, that's true. I mean, they're trying to do like some series where like Doc Brown, Marty like come back, not for a Back to the Future movie, but like some they had
So they're
announced
doing like a
something.
Back to the Future television series.
Kind of something similar. to
Miniseries,
that.
limited series.
They're gonna bring them back. That's all
okay.
I know.
They'll probably do like an animated version.
And
I think that could work.
Okay,
That could
Rick
work.
and Morty already exists. I mean, that's kind of very similar to Doc and Morty.
Well, I mean, I think it would be like kind of like the Men in Black series.
That
wouldn't it?
is cool. Yeah, I like the dual pairs. Especially that's like a really crazy scientist Doc, and then
Funny
this
enough,
like
that also
kid
was
with a
made into
jumpsuit.
that was also made into an animated series.
Yeah, Men in Black. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
How they had
So
that-
it could work.
It didn't last long. It lasted only a year, but so we cared. But
Well, I just want to ride on a hoverboard one day. That's all that matters.
Hold on, WB.
you can do that now.
You think? Oh, yeah, they actually do exist, but they're just very not consumer dispersed. So I can't get one myself without paying $1 million. So
It's okay. You don't need to fly. It's okay.
okay.
So
I
I
have legs.
want to talk about this. Wait till he announces new funding again, and it moves through bankruptcy. So these people are actually they have basically investors lined up, but still, that should go okay through it. Who's investing with them? Do you know Brother Wells? Investing through them.
This area, I'm actually not too familiar with this area. I was actually hoping Christian could give me a little.
Well, so they have probably applied pressure to allegedly wayward investing by as a judge Wiles to issue VIP. All right, so they basically have funding. Good. Good for them. I thought they were going crazy for that. So that's cool. Go through bankruptcy, so hopefully they can finance something else.
Probably it might get revived near the end of the year.
So they have projects underway still. They're just delayed because they're not actually funding it. Okay. I think I have investments
Project
to that.
escaped them too.
Wait, what's
Like Jane Got a Gun was actually supposed to be distributed through Relativity, but the Weinstein company. But after they went bankrupt, the Weinstein company took them.
Right.
So some projects.
So there was a turnover, and then it got bought up by different companies. All right. So they don't get them back though.
If they can get the money in time, the funding, and the proper management, as well as with the proper management with the money, they could get them back, and they could revive and come back from the dead, because that's basically where they are.
All right, but if like the Weinstein's already in production with him or in pre-pro.
Oh, you talking just for Jane Got a Gun?
Yeah.
Oh no, they got them. They can't go near them.
They can go back there. All right.
They gotta get the other films.
All right, so it's still a turnover though. So they have the rate of
it's a
start
complete
having
turnover now.
So okay. No, I'm just wondering how that happens with that. So it's cool. So then we have that, and then we have
Oh, by the way,
Yeah, let's
before
go.
you conclude this topic, I have one thing and one thing to say.
Oh
only.
yeah.
What you guys say?
I think that Relativity, they're really keeping a good ground here. I have a good theme song for them too.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's funny about that is when it happens, you can just picture every CEO just blasting music when he's about to lose his
just
company.
like in their office, just like, I will survive.
They need somebody to keep their spirits up. Just
No, I'm just like picturing this, like just like free dancing on the in their was in the office about that. Dancing bankruptcy. That's cool.
Oh boy, those guys. I mean, I hope they do well.
No, I'm still too. Just for their sake,
Just for their sake.
So apparently, let's see, the Reverend is coming into theaters soon, and director Andrea G. Ernatadu. Is that correct, Brother Wells?
No.
How do you?
Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu.
Oh, sweet.
Iñárritu.
No, beautiful name. Wonderful. So he's doing this movie with Leo DiCaprio. And Leo's apparently just like really trying to get an Oscar, really just trying to get attention to himself. Oh, I slept in an animal carcass. You should give me an Oscar. So, I mean, it's pathetic now. I mean, come on.
Do anything.
Just grow up. Anyway, don't worry about it. You'll get an honorary Oscar when you're 90. Don't worry about it.
I really hope he isn't like Peter O'Toole. He just gets these great performances year after year after year, nominated after nominated. But
Okay.
nothing.
Okay.
Just-
I know, but still, awards shouldn't mean anything to you. Because it's all a popularity contest.
But it's big and shiny. Oh.
What? Popularity contest? Oh, totally
No,
popularity
for
contest.
music awards, that's a popularity.
All right. That's totally
Yeah.
different. All right.
Yeah,
No, in
that's
music.
different.
No, in music. That's
That's
like
a popularity
that's,
contest.
What? Music?
Yeah, it's music awards. That's what I'm saying.
Popularity?
Yeah. No, they go off of popularity for that one.
Well, they all do. For all awards. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, man. No, seriously. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. Yes.
No.
Oh, come on. Almost every single... Yes.
No.
Come on. Why do you think they actually got the whole... You hate Titanic, right?
If it's a popularity award, why are there not the popular films in there? Why is there...
What, with that? No, because it's all popularity within basically all that age group, okay? Like, you're talking about all mainstream films, right? All right, you got the MTV Movie Awards, you got those Kids' Choice Awards. Those are all the
I'm
mainstream...
just for the film awards right now.
Yeah, I know. But you're talking about what you're talking about. Why aren't the mainstream, big budget Hollywood superhero movies all awarded? Because that's a different demographic. The Academy are all older people who don't care about those movies, so they go all towards basically all the big dramatic pieces that come out later in the year. So
Are
among
those awards that actually win those actually popular amongst people?
What, younger people?
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you think Kate Winslet's performance in, what was it, The Reader, was that actually popular amongst fans?
Amongst younger people?
Amongst anyone?
Amongst basically the older people. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Older, yeah, it was, dude.
Anyway.
But still, no, what I'm saying is awards shouldn't matter as much, is what I'm saying. They don't. If the guy gives a good performance throughout his career, just because he was nominated, that should be enough. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I'm
just saying just in terms of the awards. No, it's fine.
Okay, cool.
I don't make a big deal out of it.
So, you shouldn't. It's just an award
I know.
show.
I don't get like upset or whatever, like cry. Oh,
I'm not saying you cry. I'm saying he cries, but
they're shiny and they're really.
Size
That's the only means for my medals. Is like, yeah, I want a shiny piece of metal.
Size doesn't matter, man. Shiny piece of metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's basically saying that he's talking about basically stories or what matter in this article, which is interesting because he's right. Stories should matter, but the fact that he gets a movie in on time, $60 million, that's like, it's okay. Good for you. I'm happy for you. Very proud. Make good movies. It came from a third world country. American dream. I love that. It's cool. So that'd be fun. When's that movie coming out, Mendel? When's that movie coming out?
Christmas.
Christmas? This Christmas or next Christmas?
No, this Christmas.
Yeah, cool. That'd be fun. So we'll check that out later. And then when we get back, actually, we're going to review some movies. And what are we reviewing, anyway?
Burnt, Suffragette, and Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension.
All right, cool. When we get back, we'll review those. And then, Justine, what do you got for us?
The toy franchise Monster High gets a live-action motion picture. Chris Rock returns to host the Oscars, and Johnny Depp and Edgar Wright team up to make a kids movie. That's all coming up next on The Screening Room.
All right, cool. We'll just make sure we're back here on The Screening Room on 88.7 FM, WRHU.
Universal announced that Mattel toys are the toy doll series Monster High is getting a film adaptation featuring big names across Hollywood. Ari Sandel, director of the Oscar-winning short West Bank Story, was just announced as the film's director. Stephanie Savage of The OC will also be involved, and Gossip Girls' Josh Schwartz and Footloose's Craig Zadan and Neil Marin will be part of the production team. Monster High is the second highest-selling doll franchise behind Barbie, and it explores the lives of teenage kids of famous horror legends like Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. The Monster High film adaptation is expected to hit theaters on October 7th, 2016. And award season begins in just a short 4 months, and the lists of nominees are already rolling out. But the one thing we're still on our toes about is who will host the Academy Awards this year. Well, we've got the answer. Chris Rock. The comedian hosted the show 10 years ago and is returning to the stage to host the show once again. The 88th Academy Awards will air on ABC on February 28th, 2016. And Johnny Depp and Edgar Wright have united to make movie magic once again. The actor and director are going to work together to make a film adaptation of Neil Gaiman's children's book, Fortunately the Milk. The book is about a father who goes to the store to get some milk, but along the way gets wrapped into a fantastic adventure, including pirates, time travel, and aliens. Written by Flight of Conchord's Brett McKenzie, the movie will combine live action and animation. That's all the news that I have for now, but stay tuned for more news coming up real soon. Back to you guys.
You know, I actually want to get Gary on the record at one point just about these movies that are all about food. So many movies now, they're being about food. Apparently Hollywood's getting really hungry now. Literally hungry. You know what I'm saying? Because all these movies about, you have Chef, you have all these other movies that come out about food, a lot of documentaries also. It's a big deal right now. So this movie, Bradley Cooper, actually has to dip into the food industry. So with this one, what's this about, Brother Wells?
The movie's on a guy named Adam Jones, a rising master chef whose drug and erratic behavior led him to losing his restaurant. He comes back, he's in London, and he's not prepared to make a comeback, but he's also rebuilding his life and trying to confront things, and a certain chef named Helen actually helps him out with that. And let's go to when they're in the kitchen.
People eat because they're hungry. I want to make food that makes people stop eating.
We're being stupid.
Cooking is an expression of who we are, and right now we're 2 stars, both of us. It's a 2-star review. Now we can keep on cooking and be interesting, but I want people to sit at that table and be sick with longing. And I need you to do it with me.
So, a lot of people aren't liking this movie, but I actually kind of dug it.
Yeah, I really liked it, yeah.
Yeah, some people are hating on it, but at the same time, I really liked the chemistry between Bradley Cooper and...
yeah, it carries over from American Sniper.
Right, totally.
Sienna Miller.
Right, Sienna Miller, yeah, both great, terrific chemistry there. I actually liked him playing an unlikable character.
Yeah, came off real well with that.
Yeah, because he was, you can play a character that actually is likable, then again, play a character that's not likable and make you have empathy for him. I really dig that. Mm-hmm. Also, just the whole way, just about the whole, it's a redemption story, but at the same time, you see, wow, it's different. It's cool. I like it.
Great shots of the food, though.
Yeah.
That was really mouth-watering right there. Great directing over here, and Emma Thompson. It was nice to see Uma Thurman again.
Oh, yeah. So what's she done in a million years, right?
Oh, gosh, she hasn't been out with something in a while.
Yeah, what was the last movie she did? The Producers back in 2005?
I think so, yeah. It's been a long time. But nonetheless, great work here. Like the lighting, and very good film. Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. Next one on our list is... What's this one?
Suffragette.
Suffragette.
So this is basically on the suffragette movement in Britain. And the movie centers on Maud, who's a fictional character, but she joins up with famous suffragettes like Emmeline Pankhurst, Emily Davison, all in showing women's earliest right for equality. And let's go to the clip.
You're a suffragette, Mrs. Ellen?
Yes, but I consider myself more of a soldier, Mrs. Watts.
These women's testimonies make a difference.
Maybe. But as Mrs. Pankhurst says, it's deeds, not words, that will get us the vote. Make up a combination. Now, George, do you like barley sugar?
Afternoon. Are the others here yet?
So what do you think about this, Brother Wells?
Girl power is on full effect here, but very powerful story. I knew about the suffragette movement in the U.S., but I didn't know about it in England. This actually went over in a lot of different countries, but it was very good here. Carey Mulligan, this is one of her best performances in like a while that I've seen.
Yeah, she was good.
And same with Helena Bonham Carter, and I actually think they got a chance at award nominations for this. But nonetheless, this is a great history lesson here.
Yeah,
and you learn a lot about the women and their fights and how much fiery passion they had. But very well done, and so go see it.
Cool. We'll see it too. And last on our list is the Paranormal Activity, the wrap up of this franchise, Brother Wells.
Yep, this is the final story, and basically using a special camera that can see spirits, a family must protect their daughter from an evil entity named Toby, and also they discover a weird dimension called the Ghost Dimension. And let's go to the clip.
What is that?
Wait.
There's something coming from that recorder. Be careful.
What are you doing? Baby, what are you doing, honey? Honey. Lee. Baby.
Lee, are you okay? Honey.
Baby, breathe. Calm down. Okay, good. What were you doing?
He's gonna take me away.
So here's the thing. Like I told you before, found footage movies, big deal when it came out in 2009. Since then, after 5 times of doing this again and again and again and again and again, does this all have the same plot? No.
In the words of B.B. King, at this point in the franchise, the thrill is gone.
Well, one problem, too, is that the thing about the Paranormal Activity franchise is that you had somebody blowing on you, blowing in your ear, but you didn't actually see the thing blowing in your ear. Here, you actually see it, so it totally takes away the entire dynamic of it.
It's just really redundant at this point. We've seen everything. We know what will happen.
Yeah, and then
I'm so glad this is done now.
And then jump scares over and over and over again. Yeah. Here's the thing: the movie does tie in some loose ends that were kind of confusing in the past five films that tie them all together.
Right.
But are you interested at this point? No. So
to be honest, I actually think they should have stopped after 1. Actually, that was like
it was a novelty, right?
Take that and mention it for every single other series known to exist.
I think its legacy would have been,
then that's it.
I think its legacy could have been more preserved if it had stopped at 1, just made no more other films, because at the time it was a game changer. Somewhat of a game changer. I mean, Blair Witch Project did it, but
that was different.
It was revived.
So that's the thing. I say don't see it only because there's a lot better horror movies you can probably watch. Probably find some on Netflix maybe if you want to, but we'll. Just come back in another time when there are better horror movies. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So that's what we got. What you guys saw at the movie theaters. This is what we thought about the movies this week. Let's see what you guys thought about them. Justine.
And for your box office results. Coming in at number 5 is Bridge of Spies, grossing over $3,300,000. At number 4 is Paranormal Activity, bringing in $400,000 approximately. At number 3, The Last Witch Hunter brings in roughly $3,800,000. Second place is Goosebumps, that has brought in more than $32 million overall so far. And first place is The Martian, that has brought in over $154 million in its run.
Now it's time for the Screening Room's Top 10.
All right, so we got the top 10 movie beheadings for this week. At number 10, we got from Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, when Walter Donovan, his Nazi henchman, got chopped off by a swinging blade. At number 9, we got Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex, But We're Afraid to Ask. Jester pretty much gets his head cut off after giving the queen an aphrodisiac.
Oh, my gosh.
At number 8, we got in Sleepy Hollow, obviously, the Headless Horseman, his first kill. At number 7, we got Mary Queen of Scots in the movie Elizabeth the Golden Age, when she gets cut in a very beautiful beheading scene, which is ironic. Number 6, we got Friday the 13th. This takes place.
Of course.
Alice and Mr. Voorhees battling on the beach. Alice manages to get the upper hand and chops Jason's mama's head off. At number 5, we got Jason again. Jason goes to Manhattan, and a boxer tries to fight Jason, but he don't realize Jason can throw them bows and boom, off with his head. At number 4, we got Halloween H2O, and Laurie and Michael finally settle things. She managed to pin Michael and gets the axe and chops his head clean off. At number 3, we got High Tension. The film's main serial killer kills Alex's father and then proceeds to drop a bookcase on him, decapitating his head. At number 2, we got Final Destination. This beheading scene came at an elevator. A woman lost her head when the elevator closed and head popped off. At number 1, we got The Omen from 1976. This is one of the more memorable beheading scenes, and it was done slow motion and very well choreographed. And that was your top 10.
And as always, right about this time, We always end here on the screen room. So sad. It's 11 o'clock. I'm so sorry. But don't worry about it. We're going to have a party with the greatest in all that is Poco. Bosch is next here on 88.7 FM WRHU. This is Tommy Smart, King of the Movie Business, signing off.
And remember, tune in next Sunday on 88.7 WRHU FM. You just left the screening room with Tommy Smart and DJ Gowski.